Hello and welcome. I have with me Daniel Jordi, and I'm conducting this conversation with Daniel as part of a series of interviews I am conducting with the speakers, trainers of our Book Yourself Solid event training we are conducting in Switzerland later this year. Daniel is probably one of my first Book Yourself Solid coaches. I learned about what Daniel does a few years ago. We were both in the period of starting our own business. Now, the interesting thing about Daniel is that Daniel has, I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, he left a job that he really didn't like, and he has done quite an amazing career ever since. So I've been following his blog, and probably many of you have read things he does publish on LinkedIn and other platforms. So welcome, Daniel. Daniel, I'm going to start with asking you a question that you would get also at networking events, and that would be, well, what do you do for a living?
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me here. Yeah, it's a good question. I hate the question because that's one of the reasons why I left corporate, because I can't really fit into a box, but I'm going to try. So, well, I facilitate partnerships. I think that's the easiest way of describing what I do. Over the years, I've built a very, very strong network of CEOs of startups, fast-growing small to medium-sized companies, investors, corporate executives. Basically, what I do is I facilitate partnerships between those different groups of people. So, for example, between startup companies and investors, between corporate executives and small to medium-sized companies. And I just bring these groups together through different initiatives. For example, one of them is my executive coaching program, where I work with corporate executives and bring them closer to startups, closer to small to medium-sized companies. That's just one example.
So would it be right to say that you're sort of a catalyst for bringing together people with who have a vision and really that's the kind of people you love to work with, no?
Yeah, it's a very, very good description. I love that word, catalyst. I would say, yeah, it's a catalyst for people looking to grow.
Okay. Now you have grown your own business, obviously, because we started about the same time, if I remember well, and you've done quite amazingly. So what are 2 or 3 insights you could share with people who want to grow your business and win more clients?
Yeah, probably the first one is be insanely specific. If you look at any company, especially startup companies, yes. Smaller companies, they do not go out there and say, we do these 20 things.
Okay.
If they're successful.
Okay.
If you can see a company that's growing really, really fast,
yes.
It's because they do something incredibly specific in a very, very, very specific niche.
Okay.
So that will be the first one.
Okay.
Be insanely specific, almost where you think that's way too specific. If you think that, you're on the right track.
So that's more than focus. It's
a lot more than focus. Yeah.
Crazily focused. So it's specific also in terms of narrowing your niche, narrowing your market.
Exactly. Just pick basically, just for example, if you talk about services, just pick one. Don't go for 3 services, 7, just do one and become the leader of that one within, that very, very small niche market. That's how I started out. I was doing, I was basically talking about advice about career development for international executives in Switzerland.
Okay.
So I had a very, very specific niche, and people were just flocking to me because nobody else talked about that stuff that I talked about. Okay. And I didn't have a competition. I didn't have any competition in that market.
Because you were so specific, there was no competition. The other was just more generic. Is that?
Exactly. I mean, I picked the market of, well, there's career, right? But yes. Career development. But then the market itself, basically what I picked executives
yes.
that are international, that are in Switzerland,
okay.
that are looking to get out of corporate.
Okay.
So That is
So that was really a very specific situation. So that's tip number one.
exactly.
Tip you could share?
Another one would be to work with others.
Okay, so don't do it alone. Don't try alone.
Yeah, it's just the thing that it's so easy to fall into. No matter if you're a tech startup CEO, if you're a service provider, it doesn't matter. So many people try to do it themselves, and it's a journey to hell if you're trying to do it yourself. I've done it, I've tried it, and it's no fun at all. And when I say working with others, I don't mean, what I've been doing is I've been chatting with people all day long on Skype and everything, but that's not working with others. Working with others is building a team around you. Working with others is having a peer-to-peer mastermind group. Working with others is building partnerships, actual real partnerships with others. That would be one.
But do you employ people?
I have one employee, yes.
Just one employee.
With.
Okay.
Yes, and then I have two partners in my company in the US that I work with.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've worked with countless people as freelancers over the years.
Yes. So you have a very flexible setup.
Yes, absolutely.
Sense, yes. So what would be a few lessons learned from you, sort of personal lessons learned, which go beyond just winning clients, but just in building your business, or 2-3 things you could share with us?
Yeah, I think one of them is switch off when it's time to switch off. So it's easy when you have your own business to run all day long and all night long, because there's always more work to do. There's always another social update. There's another email to read. There's always one more thing. So be rigid about your time. For example, most weeks, I just work 4 days a week. That's it.
Okay. So you don't work on weekends in that sense? Huh?
I don't work on weekends. There's exceptions.
Yes.
But it's kind of like, it's that conversation between work-life balance, work-life integration.
Yes.
Both has upsides and downsides, but I would just say be rigid, because if you don't schedule time with your family, if you don't schedule time to go to the gym, if you don't schedule time to just sit and be and do nothing and watch TV.
Yes.
Sometimes it's hard because you're not really there. You're not really relaxing the mind.
Okay, to regenerate. Another tip you could share? Something else that you learned?
To work on yourself.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, the level of your success in business has a direct correlation with the level of your personal confidence and clarity. And confidence is a big one. Look at every successful leader. One of the things that makes them stand out is their level of confidence. The way they talk about themselves, the way they look at themselves in terms of self-worth. They know what they're worth.
This confidence comes from working on yourself. This is what I'm...
Oh my God, yeah. I just want a quick example. I got to know a CEO of a telco company in New York who was just about to sell his company for $100 million. And he was like, and I'm going to be a coach after that. I'm going to work with top level executives. He was like, but I don't know. He was like, but I don't know anything about that. I don't even know where to start. And, I'm afraid I'm going to charge too much, and stuff like that. This guy was just about to sell his company for $100 million.
Yes.
And he had self-worth issues because he was moving into a new area. Okay. So we all have self-worth issues. Please work on them.
Okay. So those are very, very valuable insights. So it's really about taking care of yourself if you want, sort of really taking on the one side, work on yourself. That's when you really work and try to improve yourself. But then also it's about giving yourself a break. So these are sort of the two things I'm hearing from what you're saying.
Yeah, with the break, I think what I mentioned as the second point, the most important there is vacation.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to go on vacation and have your iPhone with you and always have the bling, 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 right? And take every call. I'm rigid about that. I do not read any emails when I'm on vacation, no matter how long my vacation is. And people accept it. It's no big deal.
And yet it's amazing. You produce an amazing amount of material, very good stuff, which is out there from you. So people don't have the impression that you're someone who is like taking all these vacations. And so I think you're doing a great job there.
Yeah, it's true. With technology, you can schedule a lot of stuff, right? I mean, I don't write the email when I send it out. I write the
Yes,
email,
yes.
schedule it in my software, and then it goes out to my email list whenever I want to have it get out. Same thing with social. So technology is beautiful, but we have to make it work for us, so we're not enslaving ourselves to technology.
So that's probably tip number 3, to take advantage of technology. I mean, everyone's talking
Totally.
about the advantage of digitalization. So
Exactly.
use technology to your advantage. And we're also using technology here to talk
Absolutely.
over distance. Now, you're going to be a speaker at the Book Yourself Solid event. What was your motivation? I'm very happy that you accepted to take part, but what made you agree to take part
Well,
as a speaker?
I mean, there's a couple of things. First one is I've been a part of the mentoring community for 2 years, Book Yourself Solid International, and I learned a tremendous amount from the group, from Michael Port, for me it was huge. Just having this as a structure to build my business around was incredible. It was probably the biggest breakthrough that I had in the beginning of my business. So that for me, it's a way to give back. For me, it's a way to give back, and also to have people around me that are kind of like have a unique I guess mindset, because with Book Yourself Solid, usually people attracted to Book Yourself Solid have two things in common. They're looking to create real business impact, but also make the world a better place. So for me, that is incredibly important, because for me, I'm not a tree hugger, but but also if somebody just talks about profit, I get bored really quickly. For me, there needs to be both sides of the coin.
Yeah, that's also what I found in the community. That's really a great community. I think that's the type of, it has a philosophy behind it, which is really about building trust. So what will you be talking about?
I'm going to talk about building trust.
So I gave you the keyword.
That was unintentional, I think.
It was unintentional.
I'm going to talk about building trust. I mean, over the past 4 years, I worked with some 250 corporate executives and entrepreneurs and CEOs, basically on building trust with very high profile people like investors, other CEOs, for partnerships. That's what I thrive at, because it's what I've always done really well since I was 19, since I started in real estate and then in recruitment. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. Like, how do you foster great relationships with very, very powerful people that sometimes can feel intimidating to reach out to them, to build a relationship with them? That's what I'm going to talk about.
I find it interesting because you're a very young guy. So I mean, young people would be a bit typically intimidated to reach out to CEOs and people at that level. So it will be very interesting to see what you have to share with us.
I mean, for me, the thing is, I've always been the youngest in everything I did. Like last week, I attended the CEO Collaborative Forum Day with 30 or so CEOs. And I was the youngest in the room, of course, like everywhere. Like I was the youngest when I started in real estate with 19. I was the youngest when I talked to C-level executives when I was 20 years old in recruitment. So, I got used to it, and I learned that I'm not a match for them in terms of experience. I can't say, oh, I have that much experience, so that's why you need to talk to me. That's why you need to feel we're on the same level. So I always had to sell through trust.
Yes.
It was just a necessary evil by design, and I guess that's why I had to master it, and now I'm able to share it.
And that's why you're really good at it. So,
exactly.
Daniel, it will be a great pleasure to have you. I'm very excited to have you on board as part of a really impressive team of trainers we have. So thank you for this call, and look forward to seeing you in September.
Thank you very much. Looking forward too.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.